Welcome back. Now, we're changing poses when we equip a weapon, which is great, but we still use our regular unequipped running animation, and we'd like to switch to a different running animation, and the good news is we've already set up our IK rigs. We've done all the work ahead of time, and since we have IK rigs for both our Echo character and our Mixamo character, I hope you didn't delete that, we have our Mixamo character in our Mixamo folder. Since we have that, we can still retarget new animations from Mixamo to Echo because we made a IK retargeter, which makes use of both of these IK rigs, and we can add new animations rigged to our XBot skeleton, and we can retarget them over to Echo. Now, I'd like to get a new animation for running with a sword. Sounds kind of dangerous. It's like running with scissors, and we're going to do it. So I'm back here in Mixamo, logged in, and I'm on the Animations tab, and I'm going to search for Axe because this Axe character has the set of animations for a one-handed weapon. It doesn't have to be an axe, it could be a sword. And we have a standing run forward. And notice that the character is running forward holding a weapon. Now there is an issue, and that's that the character is actually running forward, and we don't want that. We control the character's movement in the game engine. We don't want the animation to actually move the character forward. So it's very important that we check this checkbox here that says in place. And now the character is running in place just like our other animations. So do make sure to check in place. That's a very important detail here. So we'd like this running animation. So I'm going to click download, and I'm going to select without skin because we already have the skeletal mesh for XBot. We don't need the skin, we just need the animation data. So I'm going to click download, and I'm going to show this in my downloads folder. I still have my other animations there. That's because when I click and drag it into another folder, it sort of duplicates it. That's how I have Windows configured here. Now, I'm going to take this standing run forward and open my slash project and go into my assets folder. This is that folder that I added right here in my overall project file folder structure. And in assets, I have Mixamo and animations, and I'm going to move standing run forward into that. Now, it's not in my project yet. It's just in this side folder that I have for my assets. I need to get this into my project. So I'm going to open Unreal Engine and go into my Mixamo XBot animations folder and get that animation in here. So I'm going to click import, go into my assets folder where I stored my standing run forward animation, click open, and I do need to select the Mixamo skeleton. As we're not importing a new skeleton, we're choosing the Mixamo one, which is called XBot. So I'm going to choose SK XBot and import. And now I have my standing run forward animation. And very important, it's in place. It's not moving the character forward. You'll get some glitchy, buggy behavior if you don't have it in place. Very important. So here's the beautiful thing about all the hard work we've done so far. We can easily retarget this because we have an IK retargeter for XBot. So I'm going to close this animation and go out to XBot and into the rigs folder. It looks like I already have it open here. Here's my IK retargeter. And now that I've imported a new animation using XBot skeleton, I have that animation right here under the asset browser, and I can double click it and see Echo retargeted to this animation, and it looks great. So I'm going to retarget this. All I need to do is have this animation selected and click Export Selected Animations and choose the folder. And I have an animations folder for these retargeted animations. It's in Blueprints, Characters, Animations. I'm going to select that and click OK. And now I have my retargeted animation. And with that preview mesh on our socket, we can see what it looks like. So she's got this kind of more shambly type run, and it's more like what someone would look like if they're running with a sword into battle. So we're going to use that. Now, we already know how to change our animation poses using a blend poses by eCharacterState. And we can do that in our run state. So if we go into run, we can get a new blend poses. So we're going to type blend poses, E character state. And we can get our character state. I even have it exposed under my variables down here. I'm going to drag it in and plug it into active enum state, and we can right click on the default pose and expose unequipped and expose equipped one-handed weapon. And now we can have poses for those character states. And I can use jog forward for the unequipped pose, and I now have my newly retargeted standing run forward. I'm going to search for that here in the asset browser. So standing run forward, I'm going to drag that in and plug it into equipped one-handed weapon pose. And if we want a default pose, we can duplicate our jog forward and pass it right in there. And we can't forget that we need the output pose from this node to go into output animation pose. And now we can compile and see how this looks in game. So I'm going to press play, and I have my regular unequipped running animation working. And if I go and equip this weapon, my idle pose changes, and if I run, my run pose is different. And we now have this new running animation pose where Echo is actually holding the sword, and it looks great. All right, so now we're changing our idle and our running pose. And this is awesome, but the thing is, if we continue this pattern of simply adding a blend poses node into all the applicable states in our animation blueprint, that's going to be a lot of work, and also it's not very scalable. What happens if we want other options when we're equipping a weapon? For example, when we're equipping a weapon, maybe we want to lock onto a target and be able to strafe. In some games, if you lock onto a target, now you're facing that target, and if you run to the side, you're not actually turning towards your movement anymore. You're strafing to the side. You have a different type of running animation for that, and that would require making our animation blueprint much more complex and sort of convoluted, and animation blueprints get out of control very quickly if you don't know how to organize them. So we're going to learn how to organize them a little bit better in the next lecture when we start learning how we can have multiple animation blueprints all used by the same character. So really exciting stuff. This is what professional Unreal Engine developers and animators do. They don't have one big, huge, giant animation blueprint that gets out of control. They have multiple animation blueprints, and they know how to switch between those based on what's happening in the game. And that's what we're going to do next. So excellent job. We're one step closer to having a functional game, and this is looking awesome. I'll see you in the next video.